Lesson 6. This lesson is called Freelancing Key Success Factors, and it will show you how to focus on the right things that have a direct impact to your success as a freelancer. This lesson is important because ultimately, your success is what is going to provide lasting happiness and freedom in all areas of your life. So being a freelancer not only has the ability to create a profitable business for yourself, but it also has the ability to create freedom. And that leads to true happiness. So this lesson is very important because it's going to break down the things that have the biggest impact towards your success as a freelancer. The first key success factor when it comes to freelancing is the importance of speed. Speed is incredibly important in today's marketplace. Consumers are doing so many different things. Clients are working on projects, they're looking at other freelancers' work, they're comparing many different freelancers before making a decision. But by focusing on speed, you can have a major advantage over the pack, over the competition. Because when you're first to jobs, when you're the one who responds first, you're the one who's the first one to send a proposal in my experience, I've seen that has a massive impact on how many jobs you actually close and how many clients even respond to you. Because if you wait too long or you don't get back right away, a lot of times the client or the buyer will move on. They'll move on to the next person, to the next product that solves their needs. So with everything you do, speed is so important. And the reason it's a key success factor is because speed applies to every aspect of freelancing, whether it's sending proposals out, responding to proposals, speaking with clients, getting back to them to schedule times to speak with them, delivering work for the client, following up with the client. Every area of freelancing requires speed to be the most successful freelancer possible. It just requires being disciplined and always ready to provide that next level of value for the potential client when needed. That is how you're going to rise through the ranks, and that is how you can become the most profitable freelancer possible. So with everything you do, make sure you focus on doing it with speed, with doing it with urgency, because this also lets the client know that number one, you are available to deliver the service you say you are, and number two, it shows them that you care. So who do you think is going to land the job if the client offers it to two freelancers? Probably the one that gets back first, that shows that they're the most interested and wants to help the client out the quickest. Customer experience is when you take customer service to the next level. And this is the next key success factor with freelancing, because you need to go above and beyond with this. Your reputation is vital. So when you go above and beyond and you don't just provide good customer service, but you provide a customer experience, that is how you start to separate yourself from the pack. And that's how you get good reviews, that's how you get referrals, and that's how you retain these clients long term. So this is one of the biggest key success factors after speed, because most times clients are going to be on guard, especially in the beginning of your relationship. So when you take the attention off of the money and you place it on all the value you're going to provide, you focus on providing them the best customer experience, you build that trust with them, you build that credibility. That's when you stand out, because customers remember how you make them feel. So customer experience can be remembered as making the customer or the client feel like you truly care about them and their project and their business. Next, your reputation is everything. Your reputation in the freelance world consists of all of the jobs you've worked on, all of the reviews you have on Upwork and other freelancing websites, any social media reviews or testimonials that are about you. Everything contributes to your overall online reputation. So if you don't have a reputation yet, that's no problem, but make the commitment and the decision to building that, because that is what is going to help you build a profitable freelance business. Your reputation is what gets you future deals. It's what helps you get referrals from your current clients. And it's also what helps you upsell and charge clients more the longer your relationship goes on with them. So make sure you always do everything you can to get a good 5-star review. And that goes back to qualifying clients. You do not want to work with clients that are a threat to your reputation. So if you're getting a bad feeling, a gut feeling about a client that they're just not a good fit for you or the project isn't right for you, I strongly suggest you listen to that feeling and you move on to the next opportunity. Because your reputation is everything. And it only takes, unfortunately, one bad job, one bad review to break that cycle and to start negatively impacting your business. So reputation is the third key success factor, and it is vital for your success along every step of your journey. Next, understanding good clients versus bad clients is the other factor to success. Not all clients are created equal, not even close to that. It's just like not all freelancers are created equal. It works both ways. So Upwork is awesome because they provide stats just like they do with freelancers. Upwork provides those same stats for clients. So you can see how many jobs they've posted in the past, how many people they have hired, if they have a payment method that is verified, how much they spend on average when they hire clients. And you can even dig into the reviews that freelancers left for that client. So as you go through this process, as you go through this Profitable Freelance Academy, you only want to work with high-ticket clients. High-ticket clients are clients that have problems that are big enough that you can charge monthly to solve. You don't want to work with clients that are a threat to your reputation, that are going to cause you problems, and that aren't going to lead to a long-term relationship. So every job you apply to, keep this in mind. Ask yourself, is this a good client or is this a bad client? Why are you applying to the job? Are you applying just because the title looked good, or are you applying because the title drew you in, but they also have good reviews from other freelancers, they have a full explanation of what they're expecting, and they also have a payment method verified, let's say. So that's how you can start to look at what a good client is and what a bad client is. We're going to jump much more into that, looking directly on the platform to help you distinguish this. But as you start out, it's important to keep this in the back of your head, that not all client is created equal, and you're only looking to cherry pick the best ones. That is how you will be the most profitable freelancer as you go through your journey. The effort in equals the results out. At the end of the day, the amount of effort you put in with freelancing will come back eventually. So you cannot get discouraged, especially when you're starting out. This is a key success factor I included because it's easy to get discouraged when you send a couple jobs out, you don't hear back, or let's say you get on the phone with a couple clients, they decide to go another route. That happens. That's part of business, and it's not personal. Just look at it as part of business and tell yourself you need to put in more effort, and the results will come later on. Apply that cherry picking model that I spoke about. Make sure you're only picking those good clients versus the bad clients. And understand that Upwork gives you the ability to find those clients. And it gives you the ability to put in that effort in the form of sending proposals out. So everything I'm showing you has a system in place to execute on. So these key success factors are the main pillars to what will determine if you are profitable or if you are not profitable. When you start to apply these methods, you're going to ensure you have the best chance possible to actually get a response back, which is your ultimate goal when you're sending proposals out. Lastly, communication is key. So I included this key success factor as well because your communication with clients is one of the biggest factors that impact your success. How you communicate with potential clients is what will set you apart from 99% of the other freelancers you are competing with. I'm going to show you specific tactics as we progress, But just remember, separating yourself from the masses is your goal. Do that by expert communication, creative follow-up, separating yourself from the pack, and delivering that exceptional customer experience. So when you reach out, be different. Go for the close, use speed, and follow my step-by-step plans to do so. The ultimate badge of success on Upwork is this top-rated badge followed by the job success score. So on Upwork, everyone has a job success score, but not everyone is top-rated. Only a very small percentage of the Upwork freelance population is top-rated. And what that means is that I have ratings and reviews that are in the top 10% of all the freelancers on Upwork. Everything you do, remember, your reputation is directly proportionate to how much success you will have freelancing. So on Upwork, every job you work on is going to contribute to your job success, and every good review you get will put you one step closer towards getting this same top-rated badge like me. And it's amazing because once you have a profile set up like I do, you have the job success score of 100, you have top-rated, and you also have all of these amazing 5-star reviews and thousands of dollars earned from clients like I do, that's when clients start to reach out to you. And that's the position I'm at. And that is where I want every freelancer to be. Because I know the reason you're in this Profitable Freelancer Academy is you know you can create this for yourself. And you know you have the skills to provide for business owners and to solve their problems. This is your ultimate goal. You want to build all of these amazing testimonials so you can close more clients. It all builds off of each other. It all starts with one project and then the next and then the next. So now you understand what the key success factors of freelancing are and how you can put them into action to put you in the best position to succeed. Lesson 5. This lesson is called The Power of the Phone, and it will show you how to leverage the supercomputer that's sitting right in your pocket. The reason this lesson is important is because once you know how to harness the power of a phone, you will become a much more successful and profitable freelancer. Once you tap into the device that everyone has on them at all times, that is when you're going to start to differentiate yourself from the competition. There are more phones on this planet than there actually are human beings. So what does that tell us? It tells us this is a huge opportunity to capitalize on. Because as a freelancer, as you know, all you really need for success is your skill set, a computer with a connection, and access to a phone. So now in this lesson, I'm going to break down what power the phone has, as well as how you can harness that. The first thing to understand is that the phone never leaves people's sides. That goes for everyone, especially your clients. So when you're running a business, your phone is even more important than ever. Not only is it where you get notifications, but it's also where potential deals come through, where you make money. So the incentive for business people to check their phones is even higher. So remember, this device, this smartphone, iPhone, Samsung, whatever it is glued to people. It's probably right next to you right now or within 5 feet. Studies show that the majority of people never leave their phone more than 5 feet away from them for longer than a few hours in their day, even when they're sleeping. So even when you're sleeping, I'm sure your phone is probably right on your nightstand next to you. It's probably the first thing you touch in the morning, the last thing you touch before you go to sleep. And that's important to remember because that is a direct line right into your clients and potential clients. People also trust their phones. So here's some stats for you. 92% of all interactions take place on a telephone. And 85% of people report being dissatisfied with their interactions on the phone. So that means the people they're speaking with, the businesses they're speaking with, the companies, no matter what it is, Most people are using a phone to communicate, and most people aren't having that good of an experience, especially when it comes to the business world. People trust their phones and they trust what they can see. That's why you need to use this to your advantage. So how can you use this to your advantage? I'm going to show you in the upcoming slides. It also opens the door to more sales. This is a major secret because if you speak to someone long enough on their cell phone, eventually the customer will tell you how to sell them. They will tell you what you need to hear in order to handle their objections. You just have to ask the right questions and make sure you get answers to the questions. So controlling the call, having a call script, and role-playing so you're experienced enough to handle those questions and objections is going to help you use that power of the phone. So ask questions like, why did you take this call now? Why are you deciding to hire a freelancer? What freelancer have you hired in the past and how have they helped you? And as they start to answer, just listen. Ask them to explain things further, to elaborate. Take notes and write them down. I guarantee you, once you start doing this and harnessing the power of the phone, it will open the door to more sales. The phone also is an amazing tool to qualify leads. Remember this, because when you're looking for a client, it's a two-way street. You also want to make sure that they're a good fit for you, so you can get that 5-star review, so you can get that good testimonial, and you can get referrals. You don't want to have a bad experience with a client. Not only will that hurt your reputation, but it's also not going to help you get better at freelancing. Because every time you do something, the whole goal is to learn and to get better. So one of the big things that I learned is that you need to qualify leads. So qualifying basically means is the person you're speaking with actually willing and able to buy the services they're asking for? So you can do this once again by asking questions and listen to the nonverbal clues as well. You can pick up so much on a phone and even a screen share that you could never over text or email where there's no tone, there's no inflection, there's no clues for you to pick up on. The phone also helps you build relationships. So because people never leave their phone, if you're able to communicate with them effectively through it, that helps them become more trustworthy towards you. So when you get on the phone with a potential client, you're already showing them you're interested and you're willing to give them the time. And you're not scared to get on a phone and speak with them. Once you have them on the call, now is the time to do everything you can to show how much value you want to provide them and that you can provide them. Make it all about them and how you can help. Focus on being genuine, and that's when relationships get formed. Not just focusing on the price, not just focusing on small talk. People can see right through that. Be genuine, build relationships, and the phone will open the gates to your profitable freelancing career. Now let's look at ways to profit over the phone. This is where we are looking at how to harness the power of the phone, actions you can take to make the most out of this smartphone computer in everyone's pocket. The first is to learn to communicate well. This doesn't happen overnight, and you're also not born with this. Some people are better speakers than others, but in reality, it takes hard work, it takes practice, but you will get better. When I first started out my first job, I was not good on the phone. I answered the phone, I didn't have a greeting down, I didn't have a script, I didn't even really know what I was saying. But once I had more practice, once I started writing down exactly what I needed to say and the common questions people asked, that's when I started communicating better. Because when used correctly, the phone also saves time and is a multiplier because you can reach out to way more people than you can from a physical standpoint. If you were to just go cold call and physically visit people or go to networking events, let's say. So the phone also gives you the ability not only to communicate better, but also it multiplies that communication. Asking the right questions is also extremely important. So these questions help you qualify the buyer, and they also help you move the sales process forward. Don't babble on about things that aren't important. Always remember, there's more questions you can ask to either qualify the lead, or once they're already qualified, more questions you can use to move them further down the journey. So remember this when you're on the phone, because that's the other thing. Clients, and I'm sure yourself, are comfortable on the phone, so it's easy to get distracted and not make sure that the process is moving forward, which is your ultimate goal. Next, use my profitable tools and apps, build a HubSpot CRM account, and start taking detailed tabs on your clients. I do this with every call I have coming up, and it works two ways. Number one, having a call script lets you know what questions you want to ask. It makes sure that you have the right information down for the client, and it helps you move the call forward when you forget what to say or you don't know what to say next. But it also works the other way around, because then you can take notes on everything said, and you can have those for the future, and you can use that to follow up over text, over email, over calls, over videos. This is how you can profit from the phone. Start thinking of it creatively. Have your call script pulled up. Ask them questions, and you can write these down in your call script so you don't forget them. For example, you can write down the questions I said before, such as, why did you take my call? Why are you deciding to hire a freelancer now? What have you done in the past that hasn't worked? So whenever a client has a problem, make sure you also don't move past that. So in your call script, if you're asking them things and then they bring up they had a problem in the past, let's say with a freelancer or what's currently going on, make sure you put your attention in that, because remember, you are getting paid to help them solve their problem. So once you understand what their problem is, that's when you can use the phone to help solve it, and that is how you're going to profit over the phone even more. You can also use texting to increase your conversions. So texting is proven to increase conversions by up to 300%, as opposed to just emailing alone. Texting is that direct link with clients, because it might even be a better way to get in touch with them than a voicemail. Sometimes people's voicemail boxes are full. Sometimes they don't even check them. But a text message will always go right to their phone, and that will get their attention and help you close deals over the phone. Sharing information in text and links, that's my favorite thing to do, because that lets the client know not only are you thinking about them, but you're trying to close the deal by providing value. You're not just following up and saying the same things. You're following up in creative ways. You're reaching out with ideas and with value. That is also what's going to separate you from other freelancers. Moving right into following up in other creative ways. So don't stop just with texting and just with calling. You really need to get creative here, because the stats show that 80% of people convert on the 5th to 12th touch point. That means you have to keep following up. They might have seen your proposal, messaged a couple times, emailed back and forth, but you have to keep that line of communication open and stay creative throughout the whole process. Because commitment is persistence. So if you're committed, you have to keep persisting. The higher the level of your commitment, the higher your persistence needs to be. Because that is when the client is going to realize you are the one they should hire. That all of the other freelancers they're working with stopped following up, stopped answering their questions, stopped providing value, but you're the one that keeps following up in creative ways. That's what wins you deals. Because the only way you can fail is if you quit. So if you decide to just give up, that's the only way you can fail. But if you keep doing the work, you keep following up in creative ways, eventually, if you're offering a service that's very valuable, the client will make a decision. And that's how you can use follow-up. So don't be afraid to follow up. Don't be afraid to keep the line of communication open in different ways, in creative ways. Maybe that means sending a selfie video of yourself or a screen share of you walking through a new way you thought you can help the client. Get creative with this. It will help separate you from the pack. Texting clients' third-party data is another way to build credibility and to follow up in another creative way. Because you can always tell the client how great you are, the good results you've had, but once you use third-party data from a reputable source that they know, from an online publication that is trusted, that is when you offer other ways for the client to trust you. Clients don't remember what you say, so you need to send them things in writing, send them texts, send them emails, and also send them third-party data that proves your claims and that backs up the service that you are going to provide for them. They won't remember the specifics, but once they look through their messages and they see that you've been providing nonstop value and third-party data, they're very likely to lean in your direction as opposed to someone else. Role-playing every day is essential. And role-playing is when you have to work on your craft. This is basically just practicing. So you can do it out loud by yourself, and you can do it with someone else near you. Whatever you have to make do with. You can do it on the phone with a family member or a friend. But the moral is to practice these things. So once you have your call scripts written down, once you start talking with clients and you understand some of the most common questions and objections, that's when you can practice those. Just set up a phone or call someone or sit down at a desk with someone else and dedicate that time. Like we spoke about time blocking, dedicate that 15 or 30 minutes every day to training and getting better. This is what I had to do. So if you remember, I said when I started out, I wasn't good at the phone. I actually have a funny story because my 9 to 5 I was working at, this is when I started to kind of rise through the ranks. So I went from behind the scenes doing marketing to now I was a marketing coordinator. I was coordinating marketing events and trade shows, and I had to speak to a lot of people. But like I said, my muscle of communication wasn't developed yet. I didn't work it out enough. So what happened was one day I was waiting for a phone call from the flyer company I had that was printing the flyers for the trade show we were going to, and they were behind. So I was a little upset at them. And I'll never forget because I answered the phone. I didn't have the best attitude. I didn't open it with a good greeting. And it was the owner of the entire company who was the one calling, not the flyer place I was upset at. So what happened was I got a talking to, but it also let me know that I needed to train. And that's when the company also realized they didn't have a call script in place. So that was a way that I learned I need to practice. I need to have a script. It doesn't mean you need to be embarrassed that you're not good at the phone or that you might even be nervous or a little scared to get on the phone with clients because you might not know exactly what to say. But that fear starts to melt away the more and the more you practice. And eventually you'll get to a point where I'm at where it's just second nature to hop on the phone with any client because you're so confident in yourself and you're so confident that you can provide value in your services that you can profit over the phone in any circumstance. Practice handling the objection. So in that role playing you're doing, make sure you're focusing on ways you can handle objections. Don't pretend that you can handle it just when they come or that objections won't come along. They're going to come. People are going to ask you why you're better than someone else. They're going to ask you why you're worth 500 more than another freelancer. And if you don't know how to answer these, that's because you haven't role played. You haven't practiced. It takes a lot of practice not only to get comfortable on the phone, but to also know how to handle those objections. So remember to keep this a vital part of your practice and to also write down every objection you get. So if someone just says the price is too high, or someone says they don't know if this is going to work for them, make sure you can write that down because that's how you can keep refining and optimizing the way you communicate and profit over the phone. Also, have a big claim when you're communicating through the phone, through text, through email, whatever it is. Have a big claim. What that means is when you talk to people, you need to let them know that you are offering something big. So what I do is I talk about big wins I've had with clients, big successful projects that I've worked on. So I'm in the advertising field, so what I can talk about is having, let's say, a 300% return on investment for my latest e-commerce client. That is another way you can shift your communication towards solving problems for the client. It's showing them that you're not just bragging about yourself and showing them a good testimonial you've had. You're showing them how this applies to them, and that is where the big claim really comes in. Because that is what the client is hiring you for. They want their problem solved. So when you can come in with a big claim and offer something of big value, that will do two things. Number one, it'll get the client's attention. And number two, it will get them to interrupt the pattern and be more likely to give you a shot over another freelancer that doesn't have a big claim. Lastly, always end every single interaction you have with a call to action and next steps. because this is how you also move the sales process forward. Always make sure at the end of the call, you recap what was spoken about, and then you identify the next steps. And let's say you don't know what the next steps are. You have to ask them. Ask the client. Say, if you like the opportunity, let them know. Say, this was a very interesting job. What are our next steps? Are you still interviewing more freelancers? Always open the door to them if you don't know what the next step is. If you do know what the next step is, make sure to recap that. So if you do know, you have to, for example, put together a proposal for them or a report. You can say, okay, I'm going to get that report together for you. I should have that to you by tonight. Will you be able to look at that and get back to me by tomorrow? So what that does is it gives both parties a clear-cut path towards what the next step is. You got to keep pushing for what you want, keep following up in creative ways, and that is how you will profit over the phone. So now you understand the power of the phone and how to leverage it to make the most money possible freelancing and how to close the most deals. Lesson 4. This lesson is called Understanding the Price Myth, and it will show you how to stop underselling yourself and start earning what you deserve. In freelancing, you need to understand the price myth before you can become a profitable freelancer. The price myth basically states that a company or a client will go with the freelancer with the cheapest services. However, this lesson is important because it's going to show you why that's not true. And once you understand the price myth, that will help you start to be a more profitable freelancer right from the start. So the price myth is based on the fact that people buy products just on the price. And like I just said, that's simply not true. So look at this picture right here. This is a 5-star resort, and ask yourself, if you're going on vacation, your next trip, whenever that may be, would you rather stay somewhere like this? Or would you rather stay somewhere like the last stop, first stop, that has the loose dog on the sidewalk, it has the white van, and a couple sketchy people standing around? This one may be half the price, if not much less than that. But the reason you would rather stay at the other place is because of so many different reasons not related to price. You might say, number one, well, the first place looks safer, and the quality of service is probably going to be much better there. And obviously, the value you get is going to be incredibly greater than if you stayed at this motel right here. So it's important to remember and to understand this as you go through this course, because you're going to come across clients that are talking about price, and you're going to come across people that say price is the most important thing. But this lesson is going to show you how you can understand what the price myth is and how you can move past it to become the most profitable freelancer possible. So the first step is not underselling yourself. Most freelancers think that clients make decisions just on price, but they really don't. They're looking for a good price, of course, but they're also looking to get a problem that they have solved, and they're willing to pay for that. So if you can get good at the skill you're providing, and you can solve problems that add value to the business, you're always going to be able to charge more. As long as you're not a commodity, which means the lowest price is the one who gets the job because the service you're providing is easily replicatable. You need to focus on services that will help you charge more because of the value you're providing. So high-ticket clients only hire freelancers that charge substantial rates. All the jobs I get, they're all looking for expert level work. And that's because they know that you get what you pay for. So I'm not saying, of course, to start off at expert level if you're not an expert yet. You have to start small, you have to work your way up. But as you go through your journey, remember this myth, and it will help you become more successful along the way. Next, there is no scarcity of money. This is also an important factor in understanding why the price myth isn't true. There is no shortage of money on this planet, and there's more than enough money to go around for every freelancer in the world. There's money everywhere. It's getting transacted all the time. You have to think about abundance. Think about Upwork and freelancing as just an ocean of endless opportunity. And all you have to do is put in the actions, solve enough problems, and you can become a profitable freelancer. Remember, you are in the people business. No matter what you are doing, no matter what skill you're selling, it doesn't matter. You are working with other people. Selling is 80% people and only 20% product or service. People buy products that are inferior every single day, but they work with people that they trust, and they work with people that help provide value for them. So be more interested in the buyer than you are with yourself. Start to look at it and ask questions. This makes it very clear when you're talking with the client and you're communicating with them that you're not just in it for the money. You're also focusing on what you are going to provide for the client. Make the topic of conversation all about the value you are providing. That will help you move past the price myth, and it will show the client or the potential client why you are charging what you are. Moving on, always agree first. Always agree with the customer no matter what, especially when price comes up. This is most likely going to come up on the majority of your deals, even with me. Every time I close a new client, price and objections always come up because that is what people do. That is what you and I do. We look for sales. We look for where we can get discounts if possible, because that is our human nature. That is the society we are in. But once you are able to prove the amount of value you're giving is worth more than the price you're charging, that's when the client is going to ease up and give you that opportunity. But that's only if you agree with them first. If you don't let them know that you understand where they're coming from and you immediately just go into defending yourself, that is going to turn the client off and you're going to lose that potential opportunity. So put your ego aside for a little bit, agree with the client, and tell them, let me show you why I charge what I do. And remember, you can use all of the different things I'm going to show you in the objection section later on in this course to handle those specific objections as they come in. People pay to have their problems solved. So if you want a bigger paycheck, all you have to do is just have a bigger positive attitude and go out there and solve more problems. Find the business owners that are already looking for help. That is why this course is going to help you get on track and get off the ground quicker than you ever thought imaginable, because this is showing you where the people that have problems are posting jobs. Don't be negative. Don't focus on things that are distracting you. Stay focused, keep your circle of focus tight, and make sure you're focusing on finding people that need to have their problems solved. That's when the money will follow. Next, selling is the act of giving. So another reason people object to the price is because people and freelancers are victim to this a lot. They don't always remember where the client is coming from. They don't always understand that it's about providing as much service as possible, putting the full attention on the client and just providing all of this value before they've paid you anything. That is what's going to show the client that you're willing to go above and beyond, and that you're paying so much attention to them that they feel like they're your only client or they're your only potential client that you're speaking to. So how do you do this? Just give full attention to whoever you are speaking to, and make sure you're focusing on giving. Give them different options. Show them urgency. Nothing can replace poor service. People always will remember this, and that's when the majority of people go online to leave reviews anyway. It's because of something bad that happened. That sticks out in people's heads more than the good things. So remember, you need to do even more than you think to provide for the client and show them that the price you're charging is worth it. And that's another way to get over the price myth and to understand the price myth. Next, understanding there's always room for expert level work. Whatever skill you're working on, if there's people hiring for low paying jobs, there's also going to be the other side of the spectrum high ticket clients that are paying for expert level work. So you can always start at the bottom and learn these skills and get hands-on experience with smaller jobs, and then use all of that knowledge that you learned and then close much bigger deals with it, as long as you remember the price myth. Because once you have those skills and you've developed them and you have reviews to show for them, that's when you can package that together, go to a bigger client, and really secure a long-term relationship with them. Always remember there's room for expert level work in every skill set, and that is ultimately where you are going to become a profitable freelancer. Lastly, price is usually the bottom of the list when it comes to what the client is looking for. Of course, clients always have some budget in mind, but they're on the platform, they're on Upwork, they're on these freelancing websites to get a problem that they have solved. Whether that's they need more sales for their company, they need a website built, they need email marketing campaigns and copywriting completed. The moral is, they're not on there just to spend money, they're on there to have a problem solved. So always remind yourself this as you're speaking to clients, as price objections come up, and remember, making the decision to just provide and go above and beyond for the client will show them that price is also the last concern on your list. And once you both have that agreement and that understanding, that mutual understanding that you're both in this for the long-term relationship and you're both in this to provide value for each other, that's when you can really start becoming the most profitable freelancer you can and earning your full potential. Because too many freelancers are letting the price myth hold them back and weigh them down. So if you still don't believe that price is just a myth, then why do some people charge this? Like Claudia right here. She's charging $5.56 an hour. She's earned over $60,000 on the platform, which is impressive. She also has a 97% job success rating. So it doesn't mean that Claudia is not a good freelancer. However, what's the difference between someone that charges this and someone like Camille here that's charging $197 an hour, has secured $400,000 on the platform, and has a 100% job success score? Well, the difference lies in understanding the price myth, because the value that Camille is providing is substantially greater than what Claudia was. It doesn't mean that one is better than the other. It just means the level of value they're providing clients and companies is massively different. If Claudia over here wanted to start charging more, she would first have to understand the price myth. So remember, everything I'm teaching you is based on my personal journey. I'm here to save you time, and these are all the key success factors that go into being a profitable freelancer. So remember this when you're starting out and as you progress through your journey. You need to focus on the value you're providing. Price is the last concern on a buyer's mind. So now you understand the price myth and you know ways to not let it hold you down anymore. Lesson 3. This lesson is called The Basics of Selling, and it will show you how to approach sales as a profitable freelancer. This lesson is important because no one is born a good salesperson. It's important to understand the basics of selling first, so when it comes time to speak with potential clients, you are well prepared. It takes a lot of practice to be able to be comfortable presenting your products or your services to people. It doesn't matter if that's a one-on-one presentation or to a group, whether that's in person or whether that's on an online video conference. It doesn't matter. Everything you do when you're talking to a potential client or a group of potential clients is the art and the act of selling. So it's very important to know that everything you do as a freelancer is going to be achieved through selling. Selling is essential. No matter what you do, you are selling something. So if you're not selling your services or your products, then you're selling yourself in a certain situation. Even a waitress, they're selling the restaurant's food to people. As a teacher, they're selling their students on the knowledge. Selling is critical for you to survive. Being a profitable freelancer means you know Selling is the lifeline behind your business. Being able to get new clients and to maintain those clients and continue to sell your services is ultimately what's going to create your profitable freelance business. So it really is crucial to your survival. Commit to getting good at sales. Give up the mediocre and the autopilot mode and go all in towards your goals. Commit yourself 100% to whatever you want to do. Eliminate all other options and just make where you're going your sole focus. Commitments cannot take place without an action to follow. So don't just use that law of attraction. Use the law of massive action with it. Because remember, good salespeople are made, they are not born. So you need to first make that commitment to getting good in the first place. Next, have confidence in yourself and in your products. Having confidence is having the conviction, having the belief that you know you provide value to business owners. The word convict actually comes from the word to conquer. And conviction is the ability to be so convinced in your beliefs, so convinced that your products work, that your services are valuable, that you demonstrate that to the client. And that is what sells the client. Your utter certainty, your belief, and your conviction needs to be stronger than someone else's. That is when a sale takes place. So what can you do? You can start to learn how to get people to change their conviction. You need to be unreasonable if you want to achieve greatness. So convince yourself if you have to, but you need to get sold on this yourself. Be completely sold. Don't let anyone alter your conviction, even if it's family or friends. Don't let people have an impact on where you are going in life. To build conviction, ask yourself, why should someone go into debt to buy your product or service? Why should they choose you over another freelancer? These are the type of questions you need to start asking yourself to get good at the basics of selling. Always agree. The customer is not always right. However, you do always need to agree with the customer or with a potential customer. This is one of the most commonly violated rules in all of selling because you need to be agreeable. You always need to agree. You should be practicing this with everyone you come across. So even if you disagree with something they said and you want to come back with a different course of action, still open up with the fact that you understand that you were with them. You need to make the client feel comfortable, like you're putting yourself in their shoes, because at the end of the day, agreement is about understanding. So when you're able to see things from the customer's perspective, they can feel that, and that's when an agreement happens. So if there's a price is too high objection, always respond with, I'm with you. Of course the price is too high. And then you get into your real answer. Well, of course the price is too high. You haven't seen what it can provide for you yet. Let's get onto a strategy call so I can show you how we can hit your goals. We are going to get more into handling objections like that, but I want to show you how powerful it is to always open up with that agreement and then move on to the next step of selling. Remember, trust is critical to every single sale. Be aware of this and be aware that, especially as a freelancer, there's no reason a client needs to have any trust in you. So distrust is not the buyer's problem. Take responsibility that it is your problem. The decision to shop around, it always comes with distrust. So when a client is looking for multiple different freelancers, they're interviewing a bunch of people, they can't make a decision. The reason is because they haven't found someone that they can fully trust yet. So start to take responsibility. Make sure you're always acting with confidence and you're building that credibility. How can you build more credibility? Well, you can do a lot of different things, but everything, remember, comes back to how you make people feel. So always make sure everything you do is towards building trust. People believe what they see, not what they hear. Be sure to always provide things in writing. Show the client what you can do for them. Don't take it for granted that they're going to remember what you said. Now that we understand that trust is so important to the sale, let's go over why this is even more important when it comes to freelancing. So I had a recent client story that ties right into this. And when we first started out working together, the client was very, very on edge. They were open with me. They said the last freelancer they worked with gave them bad results and a bad taste in their mouth when it came to freelancers. But they were impressed by my profile and my proposal, so they wanted to give me a shot. What happened was, in the beginning, they were very, very, very on my case. They wanted to see video reviews of what I was doing every single day. They wanted me to log every single task I was doing. And ultimately, they were on my case. But what happened was, I understood that they just needed me to build that credibility with them. All they wanted was a freelancer that they could trust. So I sucked it up, especially during those first few weeks. And what happened was amazing, because not only did they ease off of micromanaging me, but they gave me even more freedom than I ever thought a client would. They really let me be part of the team. Not only that, that client also led to multiple referrals. Remember, this is all just from building trust first. Every single potential client you work with, make sure you keep these factors in mind. First, show things in writing. Do not be afraid of contracts. You need to bring your tools to the game. You can't stray away from this. You are not someone that's running a scam. You are selling services to take care of people as a freelancer. You are there to solve their problems. So when you're presenting information, show them the benefits in writing. Send them articles. Show them case studies. Keep an evidence manual of success stories and testimonials that you can copy and paste in the blink of an eye. And then you can even show them what the competition's documentation looks like. Remember, never sell with words, always show documentation. That is how you can build credibility. Next, use third-party outside data. The buyer nowadays is more dependent on facts than ever before. We are in the information age. So don't tell people what you are going to do. Show them. An informed buyer is always better than an uninformed buyer, because an uninformed buyer cannot make a decision. They need to go back out there in the marketplace, do more research, and gather more data. On the other hand, a buyer or a client that is completely informed is the one that is the most valuable because they are ready to make a decision. So always remember to use this third-party outside data so you can build more credibility with potential clients. Next, never give your price or a quote over the phone. This is important because when you start to try to negotiate, especially as a beginner with sales, you are not going to put yourself in the best position to succeed. I suggest to never negotiate with words. Instead, write them down on paper, form them into proposals like I will show you in future modules, provide the prices, different options in writing, and then let the client come back to you from there. Because in my experience, this helps so much, especially on Upwork. You can phrase it something like this. If a client is really pushing you for a price on the phone, you can say, I understand you want the price, but in order for me to get you the most accurate price and plan and options, I need to understand what your goals are and how we can get there. Does that sound good? Can we schedule a call? That is how you can get past those initial price questions and objections and build that credibility with the client. Because once you tell them that you want to understand their goals before you give them a price, you're going to differentiate yourself from the competition, automatically build that credibility, because you're not just showing them that you're there for the money. At this point, you're showing them that you're there to help them, and that's how you become a profitable freelancer. The more data you provide, the better. The more information and the more informed your client can become, the better chances you have for succeeding and for becoming a profitable freelancer with them. Have your information ready in real time. So if you're on the phone with a client, be ready to get their email or their phone number. This is also a great way to get that information from them. So let's say you don't have their email yet or their phone number. What you can do is say that you have some information right on hand that you want to send them. Tell them you have a case study pulled up that fits directly with what you're talking about and ask for their cell phone number. That is how you can build immense credibility. Use tools like screen sharing as well. This is also in the Profitable Tools and Apps PDF. I have a couple screen sharing tools I love to use, and screen sharing can be used as a video conference, and it can also be used to capture your screen and send it as a video to clients. This is how you can build trust. This is how you can go above and beyond and differentiate yourself from what all the other freelancers are doing. Because chances are the client doesn't trust you, so you need to give them reasons to trust you. So now you understand the basics of selling and how it applies to being a profitable freelancer. Lesson 2. This lesson is called How to Build Your Personal Brand, and it will show you how you can start building your personal reputation. This lesson is important because without a personal brand, you are just another person in the crowd, especially as a freelancer. So you need to put yourself out there. Getting on physical and digital stages can help you begin to shape the way people view you. So a stage doesn't have to just be a physical stage like this one here. It can also be on Upwork. It can also be on social media. It's however you communicate with people. That's how you begin to build your personal brand. But now let's dig deeper into what your personal brand really is. On a basic level, it's how you promote yourself. It's not like a company has a logo and a branding package and different colors. It's more about what skills you provide, how you promote yourself to the world. It's your unique skills and experience. It's the combination of the two. And it's also your personality. That's what the world sees. It sees the combination of all of those things. It's also how you make others feel. So I like to look at personal branding as telling the story of your life and how it reflects your behavior, your spoken word, your unspoken word, and your attitudes. Everything you do makes people feel a certain way. So every single action you take, everything you put out there in the world, every communication you have, that all contributes to how other people feel. And that is how you make other people feel. So you start to build a reputation. For example, if you're a very positive person and every time someone talks with you, they leave feeling more optimistic, they're going to remember that your personal brand is one of positivity. On the other hand, let's say someone has a really good sense of humor and every time you talk with them, you're always cracking up laughing. You're going to remember they made you feel happy and they made you laugh. That is what you are going to remember. You might not remember the exact jokes that were said. You might not remember every single conversation, but you always remember how people make you feel. So that is another big contributor of your personal brand. It's also what differentiates you from the competition. When you're building a personal brand and you begin to do this well, you can start to tie your personal brand in with your freelance business in ways that agencies and big corporations can never do. That's why being a freelancer gives you so much freedom. It gives you the ability to be agile and to separate yourself, especially as you go to build your personal brand. So your personal brand overall is the image other people see of you. So this can be from your reputation. This can be from how the media portrays you, let's say, or how social media makes you look, or how your colleagues make you look. So remember, it's not just what you put out there, it's also your entire reputation and what other people see you as. So make the decision to build your brand. You need to make the decision to build your brand or else it will never get off the ground. You can either ignore it and let it develop organically or chaotically beyond your control, or you can help shape your personal brand and you can depict it as the person you truly want to be. Next, it's time to start optimizing your social media profiles. So even if it's not on Upwork or not on a professional website like LinkedIn, still treat every single platform like a potential client can see you there. So go through all of your social media feeds, delete anything you wouldn't want a future client to see, make all your photos professional, and everything else, if you want to save the memory, just save it, but you need to get that offline and optimize your social media profiles so you can build the strongest personal brand possible. Then, once you've done that, it's then time to build your marketing statement. So your marketing statement is going to go in your biography of your Instagram, your Facebook. It's going to go in your Upwork profile, everywhere online that people can read a biography of you or a bio section. That is where your marketing statement will lie. So this is what it looks like. It looks very simple. Boiled down, it's I help blank do blank. And what this does is it separates you and it starts to build that personal brand because you're telling people who you help and what you do. So let me break it down how I do it. I look at it as I help my target market provide the skill I provide. So for me, I help aspiring and existing online entrepreneurs build a highly profitable freelance business. So that's all of you listening to this right now, either an aspiring or an existing online entrepreneur. And what do? I help you build a profitable freelance business. So look at how you can apply this for yourself. Make sure to always use the words I help because that immediately starts to build the personal brand that you are there to deliver value. You're not saying that you sell a service or that you do this. You're saying who you help and you tell them what you can help them with. So now you understand how you can start to build your personal brand as a freelancer. Lesson number 1. This lesson is called How to Be Massively Productive, and it will show you how to get things done in less time. There is a huge difference between being busy and being productive. So you need to start to look for and identify the difference and cut everything else out that you're doing that is not adding to the bottom line. A lot of times, and I've fell victim to this myself, you're doing things that just make you feel like you're getting things done, that make you feel like you're getting things accomplished. But if you look at the results of what you're doing and it's not matching up, you're really just spending time on the wrong things. So the first step is being able to understand that there's a difference in the first place. Then, it all starts with getting organized. And it's not just organization in your professional life, but it's all areas of your life, from your house to your office to your digital life, the way you keep your computer, your documents, even how you work. When you're more organized, it helps you be more productive. And you also know where everything is, so you can access things in less time. It might not sound like a big deal, but every little small task adds up. So when you're doing these things from just a busy standpoint and you're not organized and you don't have a process and you're just winging it, you're going to get less done and have to spend more effort doing that. So getting organized is one of the most efficient first steps and small tasks that you can take towards bettering yourself and becoming more productive. Controlling time is a big part of being productive because we all have the same 24 hours in a day. So there's no excuse that you don't have time for things. You are the one that is in control of time. Don't let time control you. So if you want to succeed, you must first be in control of your time and be focused during that time. If you cannot do that, you are not going to understand and learn how to really be massively productive. So first, get the fundamentals down, understand the difference between being busy and being productive, then start taking those action steps, getting organized in all areas of your life, and that's when you move into controlling your time. Lastly, eliminate distractions. This is a great way to detox your life, everything that is adding to your life that isn't adding value. So focus on what's getting you closer to your goals. Everything else is not needed because it is just a distraction. So at the end of the day, if your desk looks like this, there is a high chance you are not being as productive as you can be. So this lesson is very important because being busy and being productive are two very different things. Next, I encourage you to review the Profitable Tools and Apps PDF bonus that's with this module. This bonus is split into different sections, and it includes all the tools and apps that I personally use as a profitable freelancer. So these are the apps and the tools and the websites and services that over 5 years I've found, and they work really well. So you can save a lot of time, a lot of research, and a lot of mistakes by using the best tools, and they're right here for you. So go ahead, check out the Profitable Tools and Apps PDF, and in the first section, you can find my tips for productivity, tools, and apps. The next thing I want to go over is how time blocking your schedule will help you be more productive than you ever thought possible. Time blocking is basically the practice of just scheduling your day out, but you don't just schedule out the main things in your day, you schedule out every part of your day, including when you eat, when you're working on different projects, even your personal time and your recreational time. Every single hour of the day, and even down to every 30-minute or 15-minute block, needs to have a task associated with it. And this is what it looks like. So it might look a little overwhelming at first, but don't get discouraged because time management is what gives you so much freedom, and it will actually help you have more free time in your day. Because when you're controlling your time, you are then able to block out that time for yourself or for your family. But when you're not scheduling your day and you're not time blocking your day like this, you are just at mercy to what you can get done without having things written down. So even if you don't leave your time blocks as like a permanent addition to your calendar, this can still be a fun exercise for you to really see where your time is going each day. So I really encourage you to look into time blocking. And you can do this on all different tools and apps and calendars. I personally like to do it on either a Google Doc or a Microsoft calendar. You could do it with your iPhone calendar, your Gmail. Even on paper, it really doesn't matter. What matters is that you're looking at your day and you are the one that will be in control of your time moving forward. To be a profitable freelancer, time blocking is essential. So start using this and you'll see your productivity massively increase right away. Moving on, multitasking is a lie. I have to reveal it to you. Multitasking is when you try to do multiple things at the same time. So think of multitasking as trying to put your attention in two different places. When you split your attention up, you are not able to give your 100% focus on the one thing that really matters to you. So instead of multitasking, and instead of trying to do all these things at the same time, get serious. Plan your day out. Make sure you know what events are the highest priority, and get those done earlier in the day. Whatever can wait, put that for later on in your schedule. But there's no reason to multitask anything. Even if something comes up, you can always finish what you're working on or put a bookmark in it or a place marker, whatever you're doing. And then you can move on to what's urgent. But if you try to do two things at once, you are actually shooting yourself in the foot. And this is proven in multiple studies, and you can research this for yourself. I really want you to do that because I thought that I was a good multitasker. I would have podcasts on, I'd be answering my phone when clients would text me, I'd be always popping back into my email, seeing if there's new emails. And what I learned was that I was greatly reducing my productivity. So instead, I stuck to those time blocks that I had initially set for myself, and I moved on to the next task when it was time. Before I knew it, I was getting way more done in less time. But multitasking isn't just the only thing that can be detrimental to your productivity. So the next is switching costs. This is when you switch back and forth between different tasks. This also eats at your productivity. So remember, it's not just when you're doing two things at the same time. It's also when you're popping into your email, you're getting texts and you're getting interrupted. So even if you're not doing two things literally at the same time, but you're doing them back and forth, that is eating away at your productivity as well. Lastly, there is what is called attention residue. This is when you perform multiple tasks in rapid succession. That means you're working on one thing, you move right on to the next without a break, then you move on to the next without another break. And that is when your brain starts to lose focus. Each task that you do and you don't take a break after, you're not able to really operate at your full potential. So remember these things. Remember that multitasking is a lie. It is so deeply ingrained in our culture to always be looking at our phones, to always be getting a new notification, whether it's Twitter, or YouTube, or Facebook, or an email popping in, or a video file coming in. Whatever it is, they are all distractions. So next, let's look at some ways we can eliminate those distractions so you can become more productive. First, stick to that daily schedule you set. So now that you set it in the morning or the night before, make sure that you stick to it, because it's very easy to just move on to the next thing before you finish that first task on your agenda, because the first task should always be the most difficult. So stick to it, hold yourself accountable, and when you're done, check it off. When you check things off, whether it's on paper, whether it's a digital check mark, it causes your brain to release a chemical called dopamine. And what that does is it's a feel-good chemical that encourages your brain to keep doing what it's doing. So as you start to accomplish different tasks, each one becomes easier than the other because your brain now will be helping you. It will be making you feel good and making you want to keep going. That is how you can be extremely productive and eliminate those distractions. Then do the hard things first. So the things that you don't want to do that end up getting pushed back multiple days, that is what needs to be first the next day. Because let's be honest, if you're pushing things back day after day, week after week, and you're using the time blocking schedule I said, there will be a time where you realize you just moved this one task 10 days in a row. And that is when you know you need to put that first in your day. Wake up, tackle the hard things first, and it will help every other part of your day fall in place easier and help you eliminate distractions as well. Work in bursts, then take small breaks. So remember the attention residue part. You don't want to just fire through the whole entire day and try to finish your shift as quick as possible. It's important to take small breaks, move your body, also eat food, get exercise throughout your day, because that is what is going to help you eliminate those distractions when you're working. Your brain will start to crave movement and other interaction after you've been working for a long time. So instead of trying to just push through that shift, take those small breaks. Take those little breaks in between those bursts of hard work. I promise you it will help you eliminate distractions and continue to have your productive day flow on. Next, make sure to set time to check your email. You don't want to be checking your email 50 times throughout the day. A lot of times this can be a subconscious thing until you look at the Screen Time app or you start looking at the stats in your iPhone and you see how many times you opened up specific apps. So the way to eliminate that distraction is to not be tied to every notification that comes in. Set time to go through all of your emails, get back to everything that's urgent, and everything else can wait until your free time. Then, block all distracting websites. So on the profitable tools and apps, there's something called the Facebook Newsfeed Eradicator. There's also a Momentum app, and these are apps that help you eliminate distractions. So if you're on Facebook, it eliminates the Facebook newsfeed, which can be really, really powerful, especially for, let's say, when you want to build Facebook ads and you don't want to get lost in the black hole of Facebook newsfeed. And then there's the Momentum app. Every time you open up a new tab, instead of showing you your most recently visited websites, it shows you a photo and a quote, and you're able to type in what you want to get done that day. So these are ways you can eliminate distractions, and these are ways you can become more and more productive. Then optimize your environment. Don't just stop once your environment is organized, keep going forward with that. Keep optimizing, finding new ways you can become more productive, and that is how you're going to work smarter and not just harder. Setting yourself up for freelance success so you can shift your perspective and improve your life. First, let's go over the bird's eye view of this module. The first thing I want to talk about is how cash is often misrepresented as king, but in reality, cash is not king. Cash just sitting there isn't going to do you any good. There's many reasons for this. The first is because, number one, your money isn't safe when it's in your bank account because eventually you're going to find something to spend it on. However, let's say you don't. Let's say you just save your money over a long time. What happens is the silent killer they call inflation will begin to creep in, and that eats away at the value of your money. So it's really not about cash being king, but rather cash flow being king. So cash flow is the ability to create multiple streams of recurring revenue. This is essential to really create your own economy and to not be at mercy with the country's economy. Cash flow is having multiple streams of income. So what does that mean? That means having multiple clients that pay you money every single month to help them solve the problems they need solved. And this might get confused with just cash is king, but there's a big difference here. It's not just about that first time. It's not just about getting that first initial sale. It's all about building profitable relationships that result in cash flow over time. Trade skills for money. This is where you're going to understand that trading your time for money is not the way you're going to be as profitable as possible as a freelancer. On the other hand, as you begin to learn valuable skills, you are now going to be able to trade those for money, as opposed to just trading your time for money. The whole goal is to do this by getting clients that pay you every single month. Cash flow is king. Master the process. In order to get good at anything, you must follow a proven process. You must follow a rule book, a way to get there. It's the same way when you go to build something, you have to look at a blueprint. When you go to cook something, you have to look at the recipe because you look at things that have already been done successfully and you follow those steps to get there. Instead of trying to create your own process and make it up along the way. That is not how you can be a profitable freelancer, and that is not how you are going to find the key success factors to get you there even quicker. So understand the key success factors is all about mastering the process of finding, landing, and servicing clients. That is the process we are going to go over, and that is what you are going to get so good at so you can create that cash flow that will serve you for your entire life. Now let's go over what's covered in this module. First lesson is how to be massively productive. Then we're going to go into how to build your personal brand, followed by the basics of selling, understanding the price myth, the power of the phone, and freelancing key success factors.